Hey everybody, welcome to Crack Pack Tuesday, number 157 on the Mana Leek. I'm John as always, and we've got ourselves a pack of M19 Core Set 2019, I guess it's technically called. This is a sponsored Crack-A-Pack. If you want to get in on this, if you become a backer on patreon.com/manaleak at the $5 level or above, you can get every card in here, or the rare, or the foil, or none of them if they're not worth anything, or whatever you want, you get out of this pack. And this week it is Michael, so I'll be contacting them on Patreon and figuring out if they want the rare, the foil, none of them, whatever. But let's crack this open and see what's in it, and see what we would take. Pack one, pick one, if this was a draft. Up first, we've got Tolarian Scholar. Tolarian Scholar is 2 and a blue for a creature human wizard. It's a 2/3, and that's about it. There's not much going on here. There's no wizard synergies, so this is even worse than it was in Dominaria, and it wasn't any good in Dominaria. So certainly not a first pick, and you generally don't want to play it. Next up is Onake Ogre. Onake Ogre is 2 and a red for a creature ogre warrior at common. It's a 4/2. It's better than a 4/2 for 4, which I historically have hated. And this I just kind of slightly dislike. It's certainly not a first pick, and you generally don't want to play it if you can help it. Up next is Mighty Leap. Mighty Leap is 1 and a white for an instant. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains flying until end of turn. Totally fine combat trick. If I have a spot for it, it goes in almost every white deck, unless I'm somehow controlling, or perhaps if I'm super flyers, then this is just a bad giant growth. But yeah, this does what it needs to do. And what it needs to do is be like a 10th pick, not a first pick. Up next is Rock's Oracle. Rock's Oracle is 4 and a green for a creature Rhino Monk at common. When Rock's Oracle enters the battlefield, draw a card. I love Elvish Visionary. That's a 2-mana 1/1 that draws a card. I'm not a big fan of a 5-mana 4/2. I just said I don't like 4-mana 4/2s. Tacking on a mana and drawing a card, I'm still not sold on this. I've not been impressed by Rock's Oracle. I've not enjoyed when I've played it, and I haven't played it much. Anyways, not a first pick. Up next is Macabre Waltz. Macabre Waltz is 1 and a black for a sorcery. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand, then discard a card. Totally fine and serviceable for this type of effect. You guys probably know I'm not historically a fan of this effect unless it's attached to a creature. Gravedigger, for example, is a first pick. But I generally don't super want to play this. And even for those people who do want to play this, it's not a first pick. We did see a potential first pick underneath Elvish Rejuvenator. Elvish Rejuvenator is 2 and a green for a creature elf druid. It's a 1/1. When it ETBs, look at the top 5 cards of your library. Sorry, the cards are flying all over. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield tapped. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I've come down on this. I thought this was okay, although I've had to very aggressively warn people this does not fix your mana. It fixes your mana if you're a complete luck sack. It ramps you. There's like a 4% chance for it to not hit a land, but it's not necessarily going to hit the land that you want. But even hitting that land, this is just a 3-mana ramp spell. Getting a 1/1 is about as meaningless as you can go. So I've not been a fan of this. There's way, way, way better ramp choices in the set. I've come down on this. I'll play 1 if I'm in a ramp deck, maybe, but I'd prefer a Manalith or something like that. Not a first pick. Skymarch Bloodletter, though, is probably going to be our first pick. Hopefully the pack does get better, though. 2 and a black for a creature vampire soldier, 2/2 flyer. When it ETBs, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. This card is great. It's a 2/2 flyer for 3. That's already totally on cost and goes in every single black deck because of that. The fact that it drains your opponent for 1 is great. It doubly goes into every single deck possible with black. And if you happen to have some life gain synergies, which, as I predicted, doesn't happen that often. You don't have a life gain deck. You have a deck that is black and white and is good and happens to have Anna Johnny's Pridemate or something. But regardless, this card's great, and it goes in every single black deck, so it is currently our first pick. Up next is Field Creeper. Field Creeper is 2 generic mana for an artifact creature Scarecrow. It's a 2/1 with flavor text. Nothing else. This isn't great. Pikers are generally not great. The fact that this is colorless, meaning it can go into any deck and you can always cast it on turn 2, assuming you have 2 lands, I guess makes it slightly better than your average vanilla 1 and a red Piker, but still not very good. Not a first pick, and you really don't want to be playing this. It just dies to everything and doesn't do enough. Another potential first pick, Colossal Dreadmaw, 4 green for a creature dinosaur. It's a 6/6 with trample. This is just good. This is just exactly what green wants to be doing, and that is playing big creatures that survive all but the best removal, survive combat, and get through for some damage. This is just good. I think I probably lean towards Bloodletter just ever so slightly because it's a bit more aggressive. This, you obviously really want to be in a ramp deck to get this out a turn earlier, or maybe 2. But even on turn 6, it's still fine. It can stay in the frame for now as a discussion because it's just a really good card. Our first uncommon, meaning by my count we do have a foil in this pack, is Volley Veteran. Volley Veteran is 3 in a red for a creature goblin warrior red uncommon. It's a 4/2. When it ETBs, it deals damage to target creature an opponent controls equal to the number of goblins you control. So it's at least going to deal 1. It's at least a skeleton archer, except it can't hit the face. Or it could even be more. A single goblin instigator really kind of picks this up quite a bit. So Volley Veteran is decent. I could strongly consider first picking it. It's a 4/2 for Thror. I've talked about that. I don't like it. But the pinging or potentially 2 damage or 3 damage or 4 damage does put this up a little bit, so it's going to definitely stay in frame as a potential first pick. Our next uncommon is Satyr Enchanter. Satyr Enchanter is 1 green for a creature Satyr Druid. It's a 2/2. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, draw a card. Now, it doesn't say auras, so this counts for Luminous Bonds, which actually is an aura. I guess more importantly, it counts for Hieromancer's Cage, which is not an aura. But yeah, this is not a great card. The green-white auras deck is not a great deck. This is not a payoff. This is not good. I'm not a fan of Satyr Enchanter. I try to avoid this deck, period. I prefer green-white to just be a go-wide strategy. I've not enjoyed anything I've seen from green-white, and I've seen no reason to go in on Satyr Enchanter. So not a first pick, and not even a card I super want to be playing. Our final uncommon is another potential first pick, Horizon Scholar, 5 and a blue for a creature Sphinx. It's a 4/4 flyer. When it ETBs, scry 2. Those are all great words and great stats and great everything. It's 1 mana more for 1 power more than Cloud Reader Sphinx, which is worse. Cloud Reader Sphinx was a much better card, but Dominaria was a little bit wacky on the power levels. But Horizon Scholar is definitely in the running for a first pick here, so much so that I will keep it in frame, and we're going to have a chunky frame here. The rare, and we do have a foil underneath here, I believe, is Dragon's Horde. Dragon's Horde is 3 generic mana for an artifact at rare. Whenever a dragon ETBs under your control, put a gold counter on Dragon's Horde. Tap, remove a gold counter from Dragon's Horde, draw a card. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. In most decks, this is just Manalith. If you happen to get some dragons, you get to draw a card, or 2, or maybe 3, but you're not going to really be loading up on dragons. There's 1 at common, and I think 1 at uncommon, 2 on at uncommon because of Dragon Egg, of course. But yeah, Dragon's Horde is just a Manalith. I don't think I'd ever really first pick it. I want to get a dragon before I go in this, or I want to start looking to splash and just treat this as a Manalith. So it's not going to be in the discussion here. Our foil is a cancel. Not exciting, but pretty foil nonetheless. 1 blue for an instant counter target spell. Yeah, don't really play this in draft. It's not great. So see ya. And we got a plains. Didn't get a duel, unfortunately, and a dragon token. So anyways, our discussion is between Volley Veteran, Skymarch Bloodletter, Colossal Dreadmaw, and Horizon Scholar. I think Dreadmaw is the first kick out here, and then I think we probably kick out Volley Veteran because it really does have to go into a single deck. Not a single deck, but it really wants more goblins, whereas these 2 cards are just really, really good on their own. And looking at them, I think I'm tempted to go Bloodletter. I do want to be a little bit more aggressive in a core set. I want to ruin the people who are trying to get greedy with their Manaliths and etc. Horizon Scholar is probably the higher power. I think I'm going for Bloodletter, but it's a really close call between Horizon Scholar and it. Let me know what you would have taken in the comments down below. Would you have taken the Bloodletter, the Scholar, the Veteran, the Dreadmaw, the Horde, the Foil Cancel? Let me know down below. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at @TheManaLeek. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. You can find me at Facebook.com/TheManaLeek, Twitch.tv/TheManaLeek, and Patreon.com/TheManaLeek, where if you become a $5 backer or above, you can win all the cards in these packs, just like Michael did this week. So I will find out if he wants all of the cards, none of the cards, that foil cancel, maybe he really wants that plains. We'll figure that out. As always, if you like the content, click that thumbs up button, click subscribe if you want to see more, and if you do have questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see you all next time.